Good morning, boys and girls. I am here with your read aloud for the week, and this week it is called Dory Story. And I don't know about you, but when I think of Dory, I think of Finding Dory, and then I saw that we were in water. The setting for this story was water, and then I see what I look like shark fins or tails. So, boys and girls, when I thought of Dory, I thought that we'd be talking about fish, but you are going to find out the meaning of Dory in this story. Dory has another meaning in this story. My mom and dad always told me, "You're just a kid, so don't ever go out in the boat alone." But one night I learned about plankton. These tiny sea creatures are invisible during the day, but sometimes after dark they light up. I wanted to learn more. The next morning, the ocean was flat calm. I couldn't resist. I pushed the dory out and decided to row to the big rock in the middle of the bay. So this is the dory. And if you were making predictions, remember Mom and Dad told him to never go out, but he couldn't help himself. So I wonder if you can predict what might happen. As I rowed, I noticed dozens of seabirds circling around. Grandpa says that where there are seabirds, there are fish, so I kept on rowing. I looked over the side of the boat. I saw hundreds and hundreds of tiny shrimp swimming. I guessed that the little shrimp were eating the plankton. So boys and girls, he's paying attention to the food chain. He saw that there were seabirds, and he knows that seabirds eat fish. Then the fish eat these little shrimp, and then these little shrimp eat plankton. As I rowed toward the big rock, I saw schools of land lances. Some people called these fish sand eels. The sand eels were chasing and eating the shrimp. So here you can kind of see a picture of everything that he's describing right now. You have the seabirds, you have the fish sand eels, the little shrimp. I heard something splash, and I looked over the bow of the boat. I heard some more splashes. I looked closer and saw mackerels chasing and eating the sand eels. So again, we're talking about the food chain. Look at those pictures. Look at his face. Then I saw them. Bluefish. Yikes. The bluefish were swimming like crazy and eating the mackerels. It was a feeding frenzy. Bluefish have razor sharp teeth. I learned that the hard way. Last year I put my finger into the mouth of a bluefish to pull my hook out. Zap! I had to get 4 stitches. So this boy seems pretty adventurous. I stood up in the dory to watch the show the bluefish were putting on. Suddenly, 5 huge tuna appeared in the bay. The tuna were chasing and eating the bluefish. I began to worry. Maybe going out in the boat alone wasn't such a good idea. The tuna were almost as long as the boat. I've been scared a few times, but I was terrified when killer whales came into the bay chasing the tuna. I didn't know what to do. But it all started to make sense. Killer whales eat tuna, tuna eat bluefish, bluefish eat mackerels, mackerels eat sand eels eat shrimp, and shrimp eat plankton. I knew one thing. I didn't want to become part of that food chain. Help! Where's my mommy? Just as I decided to row back to shore, whammo! A humongous humpback whale breached right in front of me. But wait, humpback whales don't eat killer whales. Humpbacks eat plankton and krill, some of the tiniest creatures in the ocean. The food chain is really more like a food web. Now, boys and girls, what are you thinking right now? He's in the bay in a little dory, and he's seeing humpback whales and killer sharks. Look at those. I should have been smart like the seals and stayed near shore. The harbor seals had sensed the danger and pulled themselves out of the water to escape the killer whales. All of a sudden, a killer whale swam by, chasing a tuna. The tuna jumped out of the water and smashed into my dory. Bam! Oh no! I was capsized! Thank God I had on my life jacket. Here's everything, all of the sea creatures he was saying, and there he goes, swimming to safety. I should have stayed with the boat to wait for help, but I was scared and I started swimming. I swam through the shrimp, the eels, the mackerels, the bluefish, the tuna, the killer whales, and the humpback whale. It was cold. I had water in my nose, but I kept swimming toward that rock in the middle of the bay. I made it. I pulled myself up by grabbing onto the seaweed. Just then, I heard Mom's voice. Uh-oh, do you think Mom's going to be angry? What? Danny, you tell the best stories when you're in the bathtub. You should write a book. So boys and girls, that whole story was an adventure he took himself on in his head, and he used knowledge he had of the food chain in the sea to tell that story. So I loved that. It was such a cool ending. I hope you enjoyed the story, boys and girls. Have a good day.